to Success is brought to you by
A traditional proverb goes that what it would take a powerful man to achieve in 100 years would only take 3 months for 100 ordinary men. My guest today is Mr. John Githaka. He is the founder as well as the national chairman of Fountain Enterprises Program. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Anne.
Tell us about Fountain Enterprises Program.
Fountain Enterprises Program, I would say, started 1998. I was still a student then. And this time, that vision came to my mind that in your generation, we shall create men and women who shall have an influence in this country. And it used to bother me, especially when I used to see students leaving university, graduating, and the whole clan comes to celebrate their victory. And the following year, you are looking at all of them very desperate. No jobs, no jobs, no jobs. And I had this issue. Do we go to university? All those 20 years in school to get a job? And I had a conviction. That's not the idea. And for FEP, we said we want to change the destiny of our country by coming up with a system where men and women will appreciate that we don't go to school to get a job. Because we cannot be a country that only becomes a factory of producing employees. And for me, I was convinced we want to change this course and have a country where we are producing employers. And that was basically the foundation of Fountain Enterprises Program. And I called, 2 years down the line, I called a few friends, 7 of them, my friends, and I told them, you guys, must we be employed? And I told them, we can change the course of our destiny. And we said, why don't we start doing our own small things? And I had a conviction that we can do it. And I discovered it was all about mindset. And I discovered we need to start something here that will change the mindset of Kenyans. So 7 people came together. I started sending them the idea. We started digging the foundations. And for me as an architect, I was very particular. So for 4 years, we were 7, and we were about 56 members up to the year 2006. Then the year 2006, December, is when now I would say the foundations of FEP were well laid, and the pillars were very clear. And I would say within the year 2007, we were able to get membership of about 481. By end of 2008, we were about 1,200. By end of last year, we were about 2,500. And today we are talking about 4,800 members and still ticking. Needless to say that we are talking about 2-3 years ago, we had a capitalization of 500,000. And today we have a commanding portfolio of about 178 million. And our vision has been and is 2015. And our vision 2015 has been trying to plant pillars of influence in this country. And we identify them as one is media house. We can have a media house by also 2015. Then we also want to have a group of hotels where men of God can come together and be able to create synergy, networking together, and being saying, yes, we are here, and this is how things are done. Then for me, the passion of schools has been my passion. So we have a vision of having the Fountain group of schools by the year 2015. And you've already started with one. We have a Fountain School Tigoni in Limuru, and we believe that is a starting point.
Tell me about FEP today. You know, you were on the show over 2 years ago, and FEP was just beginning. It was just, taking its root in the nation. Where are we today with FEP?
FEP, I would say, today is a force to reckon with, and I'm proud to see that you have gotten to the highway. Because the greatest challenge was trying to tell people it can be done. They could see this idea looks good, but how was an issue. But I thank God that God has given me the grace to communicate the vision so clearly that before I can tell you 1 year ago, I used to be ahead there, people following me. But today I can say with confidence, I have about 4,000 people working with me. And I would say that today we have a commanding presence in Limuru, in Nairobi, in Thika, in Murang'a, in Kirinyaga, in Embu, Tharaka, Meru, Isiolo, Nyeri, and Nanyuki. We are also in Kapeguria, we are in Narok, we are in Kitui, Machakos. Then we have so many friends in the diaspora. While in the USA, we're in 5 states. In UK, we are in 4 cities, and we have about some 78 members in Dubai. And all this is the power of networking.
When you were here on the show a few years ago, you talked about obviously the different challenges of getting people together, which you'd also mentioned here in terms of just selling that idea.
Oh, yeah.
Are there any other challenges that you faced since you were here last on the show, and how have you overcome them?
One of the challenges I've really faced is one, that the Kenyan an employee mentality, that every Kenyan that ever went to our schools wanted to be employed. And that's what we became. That you find today the most successful people in this country are the people who missed the jobs they were looking for. Or some of them were sacked, and they started looking another way. And you find those are the people today with the money. And I want to tell you that if you want to go to the developed economies, you find the people who call shots are the investors. And you don't have to go far. Just go to Singapore, go to Malaysia, go to Japan, where you hear about the Kairetsu model, where you find the controlling force in the whole country. Some of you may not appreciate why the PM resigned from Japan. Because there's a clique of men who came together and they control what happens in that country. And for me, I'm like, if we're able to create a force of a few men who are able to say, the time for creating employees in this country is gone. And we want to start creating employers. That way, we shall never have joblessness in this country. I hope you are aware that everybody who comes to Kenya says, wow, endowed with brains, endowed with human resource, endowed with,
Yes,
this is a country of plenty.
That's true.
But where are the thinkers? Yeah.
Currently FEP is, investing in different businesses.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe tell us about the other businesses that you've been investing in.
Our main key area of operation is the real estate, because that's where most of us professionals are in. And we are saying, using the building society model, we want to help people appreciate that you can own a home without getting a mortgage. So for us, real estate is key. We have also said about the schools. Then the other area we have really invested in is the hotel industry. And by the way, we are very keen on starting the 7-star hotels in this country. Because all of you are aware that the 5-star hotel was a 1970 concept. And one of these hotels we have here were done 1970s. Where is the new generation to come together and say we want to introduce the 7-star hotels in this country? And we're saying by 2015, we shall be having one in this country. And we also have a fountain tours and travel company, which is able to slowly nurture us into that direction.
You keep talking about 2015, which is obviously in the next 5 years. So your 5-year goals are already clear and written out. Maybe you can tell us what those are. Then we'll look for you 5 years from now and see if you have gotten there.
For me, I see in 5 years very clearly that media house. I see very clearly that group of schools for the who is who, where children are baked to become little men and little women. I also see that association of men in that big golf course, where we are saying people who don't work hard, they work smart. They have all the time to relax, all the time to put it together, and more so to network. Then, of course, I see those chain of hotels owned by Fountain, where we'll be spending our time swimming, talking to each other, networking, because I am convinced we never came to this world to work. I believe God intended that we enjoy more than working. But I think Kenyans, we believe in working more than the way we enjoy ourselves. And for FEP, we are preparing you to get to that level by offering you the chance and the facilities for that.
John Githaka, thank you so much for coming to share your story. It's definitely an inspiration. It's great to see that, we talked to you over 2 years ago, and you've achieved those goals that were supposed to be 5 years and have set new ones for yourselves, which I'm sure we will be looking for you and seeing the progress. So thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, Anne. I appreciate it.
Our consultant of this segment is Mr. David Tanki.
Thank you.
From Lanex Africa.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
When I started the show, I gave this quote that it would take what it would take a strong man to do in 100 years would take 100 ordinary people to do in 3 months. And for me, I think that is really, 100 ordinary people in 3 months doing something that one really so-called powerful person, it would take him 100 years. So there's a power in numbers.
Absolutely. I think it is ancient wisdom. You remember, even in the scriptures, it is written that a code of 2 is better than 1. So ordinarily, it will mean the more the number of codes, the much better whatever you want to do can be. So if you have a code of 2 or a code of 3, it will technically be much better than a code of 1. And if you had one of 10, then it will be better than a code of 2. So the more the codes or the more the numbers, the better it will be for whatever you want to do.
In the earlier segment, I was talking to Kidaka of FEP. And I love their idea of bringing together all these different business people and using the investments to create enterprises and take over different segments, breaking it down to that business.
To that level.
What are you saying? Are you saying, should I get more partners now because I've now realized that many people can do more? Should I, welcome more partners in my business? Should I form a cooperative? Should I do something like John Kidaka? What are we saying?
I can explain it in this way, Anne. Your personal shilling a day becomes $1 million in 147 years at 3% interest rate compounded. Your shilling alone. If you got 10 people, each giving a shilling, at the same rates, it becomes $1 million in 99 years. Okay? Now, so you are reducing the number of years when success can come with the same amount of investment. If you were to do 100 shillings a day, meaning 100 people each giving a shilling, that becomes $1 million in 56 years at the same rate. Okay? Now, so the more it will therefore mean if you were not giving a shilling, you were giving 10 shillings. And you had more people giving the same 10 shillings. Okay? And if you were giving 100 shillings and then you have 1,000 people giving the same 100 shillings, we will be able to transform this nation within no time.
So what are the principles of pulling together?
First, of course, there has to be somebody with that kind of a vision, like Kidaka in the last segment. He had a vision and he has developed the vision and sold it. So the principles that somebody needs to follow is, one, you need to have people with a common bond, people with like minds, people who are able to see what needs to be seen, the pulling together. Now, ordinarily, it never starts like that. It starts with one person with that kind of an idea, and then he sells the idea to people who are switched on the same, so that you're able to say, yeah, I think there is something here. Now, once you pull these people together, I think for me, the beginning point when people have come together is to make sure that you have everybody having in their blood system what the visionary has. So that the vision is not just with one person, it is with this many people, because they must all see what needs to be seen or what they want to do together. Then number two, they need to develop a mechanism to bring that to pass. For example, they need to agree how much thousands or how much hundreds or how much shillings each will be able to bring to the basket on a monthly basis or on a quarterly basis or even on a yearly basis, as some people have actually done in Kenya, because this is a concept that is gaining momentum across the country.
You've been watching Road to Success, the key to your next level in business. Remember, there's power in numbers, so go ahead and begin to consider pulling your resources together. You never know what will come out of it.